How about that? I'm not real sure how we pulled that out. Be honest with you, our athletic director was just telling me. I think we went on a 13-1 run to finish it. Right? It just speaks to the heart that I get to coach every day. You know, I really have liked this team from the get-go. They give us everything they have, you know, and at times I felt like I was fighting with them the whole game just to get them to try to rebound the ball. But you give Troy credit; they're that good rebounding, and you know, it was just a whale of a game. You know, you think about this. All right, so you got two top 70 teams in the net, so two top 70 teams in the country, right, playing that game in Muncie, right? Not in West Lafayette or not in Bloomington. In Muncie, it's happening, right? And the crowd shows up, and it's that kind of atmosphere that's happening in Muncie, right? In the MAC and in the Sun Belt, right? And you know, there's a lot of people that, by people I mean coaches, that don't like this MAC Sun Belt game, and I am the exact opposite of it because of that. Win or lose, tell me how you don't get better from that. I mean, so sign me up, you know, and I think Coach Rigby would feel the same way. You know, and we talked about it beforehand. Now, we'd like to play it like in November or December. But whenever we can do it, man, it's just going to make both teams better. They've got every right to think they're going to go down and win that league. I think we've got every right to think that we can do the same. And a game like that certainly helps with your psyche. But and then lastly, how about this one? Right, big time shot from a freshman, and I can't believe I drew that play up just perfectly like that. It was, I mean, I hope it goes viral and everybody sees my ability to be a genius in that moment. So, yeah. But no, they played, they spaced, they passed the ball, and Zen was the one that ended up with the open shot and knocked it down. So, big win for us for sure.
Zen, I guess I'll start with you with the game winner. When Bree passes that ball out to you, what's going through your mind at that moment?
Well, the amazing play that was drawn.
Good answer. She's a veteran to the press room.
Well, actually nothing, just that you have to try to make that shot. If it's not in, and just sprint back in defense. We had a timeout, so just play the defense, I guess, run back, and I don't know, I was just hoping it went in, and then it went in, and then, yeah.
Question for Coach Sally.
Yeah.
Troy brought the defensive pressure early and with the full court press, and they were able to force 10 turnovers in the first half. So what message did you preach to your team, or did you give your team to just keep fighting and stay in this close battle?
Yeah, we really talked way more, and this will sound bad, we talked way more about rebounding than the turnovers. So apparently I didn't do real well with my halftime speech because the rebounding was cuckoo. But you know, I thought that the first half, our ability to just make some shots and keep that game from just going lickety-split, even though it was in the 40s, it wasn't like as fast as I think they are comfortable playing. I thought that was a big part of it. So even some of those turnovers where they were dead ball turnovers, okay, we can set our defense and keep them off the rim. So I wasn't overly concerned with it. And then, you know, clearly in the second half, we were a little bit better that way. And, I mean, we needed every one of those solid possessions because I think one of the reasons we won is we were able to still shoot 47-48%. We were still able to get 21 assists. That's how we play. So we were very normal offensively, right? We were very, like, that's how we play, right? We just weren't real normal on defense or rebounding the ball. And so that was the adversity that we had to fight through. But kids did a good job in the second half of taking care of it.
Brady, you took a timeout at the start of the fourth quarter. At that point, Troy was on a 13-0 run. What was the message there after that, after the run?
I mean, like literally, I looked at it, we have to rebound. Like I just called a timeout to tell you we have to rebound. And for 3 days, we've been talking about we have to rebound, but I just took a timeout to say we have to rebound. Like, it was like, come on, guys. We were getting them to miss some shots. I mean, they shot 39%. Okay, like if we can hold teams in the 30s, we're usually in a pretty good place. But they were getting them all back. And, the amount that I felt like we had and then didn't have was frustrating. And so that was really, literally like a minute of saying the same word over and over, like I had Tourette's. Like just rebound, 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 rebound. And I was just like, it was everything we could do just to try to get any of them.
Hey, Coach. First of all, great win today. How can you put into words their resiliency? After that time out there, you get down as much as 11, and they continue to fight and fight and fight, and eventually, Zen hits the game-winning shot. So how can you put that into words?
Well, here's what I will tell you. We were fortunate to play this game at home, and we were fortunate that our crowd showed up and got behind these kids. In that moment, that crowd, I think, got us to the finish line. It got loud. They were into it. They were supportive. They were behind them. It was all the stuff you want a home crowd to be. And so I think that was the difference, was this game was played here. And in front of a crowd that loves these kids. And they showed it today. And I think, the crowd should go home and crack open whatever drink they prefer and celebrate this one because they had a hand in it.
Carson, you guys ended the game on a 9-0 run. You scored the first 4 points of that run. Going into those final minutes, what was your mindset on the court?
You said it. We were down. We just needed points. I don't feel like there was really a lot going through my mind. Both times I just saw the rim and tried to lay it out.
And then I guess I'll ask the players. So I talked to Coach yesterday. This was also your guys' game where you on research for cancer and try to get funds for that. What is it like playing in a game that has that on it as well?
I think it adds even more meaning to it, which sounds kind of cliche, but it really does. We all love wearing the pink. We had fun with it, obviously, our bows in our hair and everything. And then you look out in the crowd and you see people that aren't always there, that are there in pink. I think it just adds a lot of meaning to it.
Coach Sally, you guys go 2-0 in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge for the first time in program history. What does that mean for you guys to be able to, be two quality Sunbelt teams this season?
Yeah, I think 2 years ago, we beat
Okay,
Troy
okay.
at Troy. That's all right. We beat Troy at Troy, and then we beat
That's
James
okay.
Madison. Yeah, so I think we're 5-1 in this
Okay.
thing all time. So, but this team hasn't done any of that, right? So this is for them to go 2-0, and again, I was telling we get this draw in this challenge, right? So we got Arkansas State, who I think is in first place in the Sun Belt, and then we get Troy, who has I think the highest net in the Sun Belt, and it's like I love it because I told their coach, I'm like, this is a compliment to our programs that we got each other in this, right? Because they looked at it and said, Troy and Ball State deserve to play each other in February, right? And that's what these kids have done, right? They perform to a point where we get this game, right? And don't forget, with 9 new kids and 6 freshmen, they went out and they've earned the best game in this challenge, in my opinion. I love every bit of it, and it's been so good for our program to be able to play. Every time we played in these, it's been a top 100 net, and to get that, it's hard to schedule those out of conference, and so to get that in this is crucial. And so, we went to Arkansas State, won by 2, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
And then we win by 1 today? You know, that's what these are supposed to be. They're supposed to be that competitive and that good, and this one certainly lived up to it. But I love everything about it. For 2 hours, my heart hates it, but I just think it's so good for our basketball team to learn such quality lessons in a game like this. And again, like a top 70 game in Muncie, Indiana. You know, that's the part that I think is awesome.
Coach, you told us before the season that people should not expect to see the team we saw last year with this group. Yet this team is doing the same thing last year's team did. What does that say about this roster you put together?
I didn't say don't expect success. I just said don't expect the same team. And we're not. But we didn't try to be, right? What we tried to do was go get high character kids that their talent levels and skill sets fit the way our culture is built. And I think we did it, right? And you talk about, I know we did it from a character standpoint. We've got some tremendous people in that locker room, really, really tremendous people. And they let me coach them really hard, right? Not easy. I mean, they let me coach them, and they don't like it all the time. But I'm like so like I'm thrilled with that part of it because they just like they let me coach them, and you know it doesn't turn into anything it doesn't need to be. But I think all of us together can go out and perform like we just performed because of it, right? You know, they all have their individual reasons why they're here, you know, and some of them are like-minded and some of them were looking for something, whatever it was. But, you know, that was my point, you know, when I said don't expect to see last year's team, right? It was never what we were trying to do. We wanted Carson because of who Carson is, right? Not because she was a clone of somebody last year. And we wanted Zen because who Zen is, not because, right? They're different, but they're good, right? We knew they were talented. And so when you take really good character kids and you take talent and then you fit it in a good culture, this is kind of what it looks like.
And then my last thing for players, I believe you guys have 7 MAC games remaining on the schedule. You guys have already been, I believe it's what I counted today. I could be wrong. I'm not great at math, so I could be wrong.
We can keep playing. Don't forget that.
But with that, you guys have already been so good in conference this season, but what needs to continue for this success to keep happening?
Well, I think we just gotta keep our heads up and like just practice like we always do. We practice hard. We have a lot of focus, and I just think we just gotta continue what we're doing, and then just win every game or as many games as possible, and then see where we end. But every time, keep the fight up.
Yeah, I agree. One game at a time.